Hello everyone, welcome to my channel if you're new, welcome back if you're returning. So I'm sorry it took me a minute to get these up. You know, life gets, you guys, if I could just only do YouTube and nails, that's all I would do. Just running through a couple little products that I'm going to be using today, showing you the design, and we're going to get right into it. I posted this set a while ago. I am wearing my UNT peel off base coat on top of my hard gel that I always keep. And I'm going to show you guys a little trick that I've seen other people do it, but I've never tried it. So I got these tips, and I'm just showing them to you. They're a C-curve, square straight, from Secret Nail Affair. Normally you put a tip on like this. So I thought, let me turn it around because the shape of this tip just makes me think of that Moon Cut. And I've tried the Moon Cut so many times, and I can't do it. I just can't do it. Now, when you turn this tip around the other way, it's rather thick, and you have to put it up a little bit higher for the sidewalls to meet. Just the way it was seating, for me to get it to seat on my nail correctly, I had to put them up a little higher. And I found that cutting a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of that tip off made it just a little flatter because of the C-curve. So I'll show you guys how I did this, you know, and blended them and everything. So what I did take was my small mandrel bit inside each of these and not only scratch the surface so it would glue better because there's not a well there, so I'm kind of making a well, but I'm also thinning it out. So you can see how it got just a little bit thinner, but you'll see when I glue them on, they're still pretty thick. So I have to do a lot of blending, but that's all I had to do. And the sanding band did leave a little gray, some gray marks. So if you see that, that's what that is. But you see how this really needs blending, right? But that's all I had to do, you guys. I didn't have to shape the sidewall. I didn't touch, for this whole set, I didn't touch my free edge. That moon shape came from the tip. I didn't have to file it. I didn't have to do anything, and I got this awesome, fierce shape. So let's get into it, and I'll show you how I did it. So when I said it took a lot of blending, not really. I just had to take my sanding band across and thin this out and make it flush to my nail. Now I do have a peel-off base coat. I put the base coat on first, the peel-off base coat on first because, you know, usually I do it after, just because I only want to, like for filing, I don't want them to come off. If you guys watched my other video, stop saying Jen. If you guys watched my other video where I mentioned that I kind of do this hack a little different, it's too much to say right now, but I usually don't put it. I usually glue the tip on without putting the peel-off base coat on. I use the peel-off base coat only for the acrylic part. Anyway, during this blending, I did end up nicking the peel-off base coat, so I do have to reapply it. And on the index finger, I pretty much shredded it off, so I just had to take it off. And so then I'm going to take my sanding band and blend the whole rest of this tip so I can see the shape. And when I say see the shape, what I mean by that is it just helps me see my tip when it's white instead of being clear, if that makes sense. If I was going to do a clear set or an encapsulated set, I wouldn't do this. But I wanted to use that. Stop saying what the heck? I wanted to use the new color from NOTPOLISH, the one called Very Tau. I'm obsessed with it. It is the perfect pink nude. I just don't know why they haven't made that color yet. I just could not wait to use it. But whenever I do a nude set, here's me taking off, all the way off the peel-off base coat. So that stuff you see peeling off is just base coat. I'm not on my natural nail at all, because also remember there's hard gel. At no time during this set do I have my natural nail exposed. So here's how they're looking now after the blending. And I want you guys to take a look in, I think a clip is coming up here real quick where I show you the shape, including the free edge. And they just look fire. Look at this. And I haven't touched them. All I did was turn around the tip. So this is how I will be doing. And I'm obsessed with this shape. The way they came out, I'm just obsessed. So I'm going to put the peel-off base coat back on and let it air dry and get right into application. But what I was saying about the Very Tau, whenever I do a nude set, that means I have to do nail art, right? I have to paint some Frenchies or do something. So it's not too often that I'll just do a solid nude set, but that's what I did today. And I ended up challenging myself with a little bit, I wouldn't say nail art, because I can't draw. I'm not, definitely not good at that. But here's how they're looking after the base coat's back on, and you can see everything looks nice and flush and good. So we're going to get into application. I'm going to use my Kiara Sky monomer and my Young Nails brush, and again, the Very Tau color from Not Polish, the new one, which you were not able to get this without buying the kit, but as of Monday, they are selling these separately. So if you want to grab this color, just head over to Not Polish and you can get it. And my code is Jen. Don't forget, use my code if you go over there. And I want to thank you guys, all of you guys that do use my code. Thank you so much. So, yep, I'm going to leave this application in real time for you guys. I'll jump on if I see anything I need to say. By the ring finger, I'm going to be doing my subscriber shout out, and I did speed up the application at that time. By the way, I am going to leave the link to this acrylic in the description box with my code, but I forgot to say that a second ago. But I found when I was doing this set, because I did not want to mess with the free edge at all, because I thought, when I was getting ready to do the application, and whenever I usually do application with stilettos, with any acrylic, I usually bring the acrylic past the free edge and then cut it off. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that with this because I didn't want to have to do any shaping. So basically, I was just getting acrylic there, and after that, staying away from it because I didn't want to do any filing in that area. I wanted this shape to stay exactly as it is from the tip. So I learned whenever I did this first bead on this nail right here, that if I blend upwards and just keep everything away from the free edge, get the product there, but keep it away from it, it would eliminate any chance of me getting it too thick there where I had to file it or getting it too wide, etc. And so that's why you'll see me doing that. All right, so as you guys can tell, this is sped up now. What do you guys think of this color? There's a lot of nudes that I can't wear because my skin is just, you know, I'm Irish and I have a lot of pink. You can see by my palm. I don't know if you guys know how to tell what your skin tone is, but if you look at your palm and it's like an olive color or pink, that means that's your undertone, by the way. My grandma taught me that. Anyway, we're coming into my subscriber shout out, and this time it is Robin. I'm putting up her Instagram here. She has a YouTube because she needs a channel to watch other nail techs, but she doesn't post any nail videos. But she does have an Instagram where she does post her work, and she does do nails on herself, and she does a kick-ass job. And you guys go follow her over on Instagram. And Robin, I just want to say to you that this girl is real. If you guys want to meet a real person, just go hit her up. She's just a true nail sister. Also, she is super into nails and just good people. I would say salt of the earth, down home, good people. Zero drama with her, and she's real. She's a true friend of mine, which is hard to find, especially in another state and in this community. But Robin, I appreciate you very, very, very much. I'm super glad that I met you and got to know you, and I'll talk to you soon. You know, we chat. Anyway, you guys go check her out. She does great nails and she's good people. And I'm sorry if that sounded choppy. It was because an airplane started coming over right in the middle of what I was saying. But I'm going to link her Instagram in my description box as well for you guys. And Jonna, I hope you hear the birds. I am out here doing my voiceover during the day instead of nighttime this time. And it is a beautiful day. The weather is so nice here. We're having some 90-degree days, though, which means it's just only going to get worse. But all the flowers on my little my little spot are blooming. I've got roses. I've got amaryllis. I've got flowers as big as a dinner plate around here. It's just gorgeous. So anyway, I am almost done with this application. I'll jump back on when I am done because I did not use an e-file to file these nails. I did hand filing only. So I'll jump back on and talk to you guys about that when I'm done. So yeah, you guys, what do you think of this shape and this color? I'm completely obsessed with this shape and this color. I would do another set right now, go in my nail room. By the way, my thumb popped off, as you guys can tell, but I do put it back on. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I do put a clip in here showing the nails up against the acrylic because I'm going to make a short of that. And then just in case anybody didn't see the beginning where I held it up, it is this color from NOTPOLISH. I just love it. I love it. So with hand filing, I'm going to use my Tammy Taylor peel and stick. I had already filed all of them but my middle finger off camera because I didn't want you guys to sit through, hours of, it wasn't hours, but, hours of filing. And I want to show you guys how I like to set up my Tammy Taylor when I'm doing hand filing on myself anyway. But this is a cute little tip that I learned just one day. I was like, I can't get in my cuticle area with any file. And so I will this will only work with a peel and stick with a file that you can set up yourself. But I stagger the edge just a little bit so I have a little bit poking out right there. And that helps me get in my cuticle area really, really good. So I've mentioned before in a couple of my other videos, if you want to avoid making that notch right here and getting your free edge just knife sharp straight, you want to watch your angles here. So you want to peel your skin back and you want to get that little notch of acrylic flush with 1 or 2 strokes and then get away from that area. You're not going to be in that area anymore. To file this, to narrow out your nail in that area, you're going to do it from the top. You're going to come in from the top of the nail, not underneath there. The rest of this that you're doing underneath, the pressure should be where you see the pressure. My file is now like here. So hard to describe. But I'm going to show you also right here what I mean. So instead of going like this with your file, you do that like 1 or 2 strokes to get that off, and then you need to stop and angle your file like this. Go completely sideways, like start here get that little notch off, you know, any acrylic that's right there, and then you're going to angle your file like this, completely straight. And now you're going to just by what would I say that? By proxy? By doing this, you're going to fix that, okay? So this is how you're going to get your shape from now on. You're going to stay away from the underside. See how that's getting flat and straight now? Because I'm coming from the top. So and to make sure that your nail looks nice and narrow, especially with a square like this, because it's so easy to make them look wide, especially when they're long, that starts here. You've got to make sure that your nail, see that? Looks like it's coming out of your skin. So it needs to be the same width as your natural nail. So that is where I work the most on any set, on a client or myself, is literally this area right here. I will go and go and go. And also you can start to see why staggering my file like that is helping me, because it's letting me get in the corners. And I'll show you in a minute how it gets flattened out from doing that so much. And I don't have to get my e-file. I don't have to worry about popping these off, because I'm really concentrated in one area, just the area I'm working on. And the rest of the shaping should just be to get your acrylic flush, you know, if you have any lumpy areas at all. But mostly where your shape comes from, I think, is making sure that your enhancement is the same width and the same width as your natural nail. It needs to look like it's coming out of your finger. And working in this spot right here where this arrow is what's going to give that to you. And doing it from the top like this, it's a little awkward, especially with a file, but you can see my file is shaped now. And now I'm going to go under there and get that notch I kind of couldn't reach before without giving myself a little divot there, and then I can go into my sidewall. I hope I'm saying all this right, but if I'm bungling what I'm saying, at least you can visually see what I'm doing and what I mean by that. And then this part, having my file staggered off the edge just a little bit, really helps me get into my cuticle area also. And also a dust brush, so you can see what you're doing, as you see me doing as well. And again, you guys notice I still have not and will not through this whole thing touch my free edge at all. That part of the shaping is done. I just had to make sure to keep my application trim, and the rest, it just stays there. So if you guys are struggling with this shape and you want to do a set like this, because I've been burning to do a set like this. When I did the duckies, I made the free edge nice and thin, but I had to leave it whatever. I couldn't give it a moon shape. That's what I'm trying to say. Every time I see other people doing it, I get my sanding band, I get it right in there, and I don't know if they're pushing harder or if they have it turned up higher, meaning their e-file, but I can never get it. I just can never get it. It seems like if I turn it up higher, I'm going to rip the nail off, like working in that area, especially on a really long nail. It just feels like I'm going to lose control of it, and that isn't an area where you want to lose control, because that shape needs to be like crisp, you know? So I don't know. Anyway, this did it for me. So if you notice there, I turned my nail upside down because I want to look at the width of my tip, because now that will tell me where I need to work next. Do I need to thin out this nail? Yes, I do. So I'm going to look from underneath and see where my tip shape is, and then I'm going to work on the side wall and the top area to narrow that back up. Right here, what I'm doing here, that is to thin out this part of the acrylic so it matches my tip better. So that's also really helpful. I started looking underneath my nails on each set I do, and sometimes on my clients too, so I can see the shape that it should be. I can see where I need to remove and thin out and all of that. So I'm pretty much done filing, and this is what I did not want you guys to have to watch on 5 different nails, because I wouldn't say it was a lot of filing as in they were like super bulky or anything. I kept my application pretty trim, but if you want them to look sharp, you have to just keep filing. You have to keep going. Like even there, I kind of thought, oh, it looks okay, but it didn't look perfect. Like, I just wanted it to look super, super, super sharp. And that's what it takes, is just, I don't know, when you think you're done, you're not. Keep going. Unless you're going to ruin your shape, don't keep going, but you know what I'm saying. So I am done filing now, and I will explain the products that I'm using. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. I thought I was. Oh, I needed to take some off of the index after I looked at them all together. Anyway, what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to take some swipe, and I'm going to really clean off all the dust and get my nails nice and ready for my art. Be right back. Also, that was a 100 grit Tammy Taylor, by the way, and I don't go in with a 180, and I don't go in with a buffer. It's not necessary. I mean, the nails look pretty. I just don't do that whole buffing thing. It's just a time-consuming step that I don't need to do, because when I use, and I don't know if it's with all products, but definitely with Not Polish, if I use a blooming gel, which I'm going to use here, if I use matte it or gloss it, it's thick enough. It fills in all the little ridges. If there are any scratches in your nail, you'll see here that there aren't. It's just not necessary. It's just a step I ended up cutting out. Also, if your nail is too smooth, your top coat will separate and leave puddles. Anyway, so I'm going to use this brush that came in my kit. I can't see it from here, but it's like the best liner brush, and I tell you what, it is. I struggle so hard, you guys, with any kind of painting, drawing, even lines, nail art, you know, but I did tell you guys that I don't really make New Year's resolutions, but beginning of the year, I said this year I'm going to get more back into being more adventurous with designs, with nail designs, because I kind of just do the same thing all the time: ombre, encapsulation, some marbling, whatever. And I do some marbling here, but it was the Frenchies. For me, it was the Frenchies where I was outside of my comfort zone on this set. So I did put matte it on the nails that I was not going to be doing any blooming on. So, but this is Not Polish's blooming gel. It's called Blossom Gel. So it's a long nail. So what I did was just put a glob on, and then I'm going to make a thin layer, actually, and I'm not going to cure it. So I have a thin layer on here, and then I'm going to start slapping on all these colors you saw me put on my palette. And I'm just using a little eyelash. This is a tool for eyelash techs that I got off Temu, and I usually use them. It just has a little cotton tip. I usually use this to clean up around the edges when I'm doing a client, like to get any gel polish off their skin. I'll dip it and swipe. But it was the right size of the globs of gel I wanted on the nail, so it's just what I grabbed to use. Plus, there were so many different colors, I didn't want to keep using multiple tools. So anyway, that's what I'm using here. And the longer you leave the colors in the Blossom Gel, the more your marble will spread out, just like any other blooming gel. And so I put down 2 different blues, a pink, a really dark brown, black, white, and then a glitter. This is a disco gel. If you want to know what colors I used, you can slow it down at the beginning, or you can always just message and ask me. I don't usually put things in the description box. I used to do that constantly with every video in the beginning, and literally nobody ever looked at it. If someone wants to know something, they ask me in the comments, so I just quit doing that. Listing all my products in the description box. It was super time consuming, and again, no one, to my knowledge, no one ever looked at that. So once I'm happy with how this has bloomed, I'm going to clean the edges, and I'm going to put it in the lamp for 60 seconds. And when it comes out, I'm going to put a matte top coat on it, and then I'm going to go into my Frenchies. All right, and this is what it's looking like out of the light. And what I was getting at earlier about this brush is I'm really outside of my comfort zone doing any line art on nails. And just look, Okay, I have long brushes like this. This isn't revolutionary. Not Polish done something huge and gigantic and big with this brush here. But for whatever reason, however they have made it, it is the best liner brush. Because this just glided on so easy. Tell me if this has happened to you, you guys. Right here, you use a long brush so that you don't have to do too much movement, right? You just lay the brush on there and it should glide and slither and like adhere to the nail. Has it happened to you where you put a long brush on like this and that about right here when your brush starts coming off, it lifts off the nail? It doesn't adhere to the nail, and then now it's ruined. You have to start over and you have to try to place your brush back in the same exact line of paint that you had. It just, no. So this one, for whatever reason, bends correctly and adheres to the nail and lets you make these fine little marks. Just my other long brushes don't do this. They bend. They don't bend. That's what it is they don't bend. When I'm trying to do this right here too, it'll be all... When you try to go with the curve of the nail, the brush stays straight. That's the best way to say it. If you've encountered that, you know what I'm talking about. And it just makes things harder than it has to be. So this Frenchie was super easy, surprisingly. I'm not afraid of Frenchies anymore. I went through like over a year where I just was afraid of Frenchies. If you look back at any of my Instagram, like some of my beginning stuff, I went wild. I would do any design I saw, even Tao doing, except like drawing a character. I would recreate it. I would do it. I would try whatever it was. And once I started taking clients, I was like, okay, I have to say no to this, and that because it makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to sit here and hold my breath while someone's paying me to do something and mess it up or get all of my Frenchies uneven. You know, in other words, one's deep and one's short. You know, to get them all matching, I just got a little panicky and decided that I wasn't going to offer that as a service because it is really outside of my comfort zone. But I would be doing them on myself and on practice hands and everything else. But I just got away from doing it. And look, it's not hard. It's not hard. So this really helped me feel like I can get back into doing it. And I don't know, I just got excited by that because now I feel like a lot more designs are open to me to do because when you don't do Frenchies or can't do Frenchies or feel like you can't or they're really hard for you or any line art is really hard for you, there are so many nail designs that you can't create. You're really limited to like marbles, ombres, and encapsulation, which is basically what I do. It's also what my clients ask for. I saw a nail tech say one time that if you want to do all extra long freestyles, just start doing them and you'll get the clients that want that. And that is true because I started getting clients that like ombres, encapsulation, and the kind of designs I'm comfortable with. But now that's kind of what I'm stuck with. So I need to get myself out of my comfort zone to start attracting that and then posting sets like this and being confident in my work. So this is the beginning of that. You guys are going to see more of it, but I think I did okay. After I'm finished with this Frenchie, I'm going to put this in the light, cure for 30 seconds. It doesn't need 60 because I'm going to do a 60 after I do the rest of my design. When it comes out, I'm going to put blooming gel on the white area of the French only, and I'm going to go in with a croc design and a little charm. The charms came from Dream Nail Supply. The glue I use is Zule's cluster gel, and I'll jump back on if I didn't mention anything else I'm going to be doing. So while I'm watching this, I was thinking, because of what I just said, I can start doing more designs. I love the way a French looks on a square nail. I just think it looks so beautiful. And that made me think, I can't wait to do some French on a stiletto. And I hope that Kendra and Alma made an appointment. Her nail's finally better. I don't know if I mentioned or you guys know, but she ripped. The reason she hasn't been back in a while is she had on a really long set. I can't remember which one she came to me for last time, but she had on a really long set and pulled back her emergency brake and ripped her natural nail off. She has no natural nail on, can't remember if it was her middle. I don't remember because I haven't seen her. So, yeah. Anyway, she's all healed up and made an appointment. She'll be back soon. And tragically, Kendra just messaged me yesterday, those beautiful stilettos I just did on her. Don't let me forget what I was trying to say is I can't wait to do a French on a stiletto. I love the way that looks. But anyway, she was trying to get a Q-tip out of her kitten's mouth. And it doesn't sound like a hard task, but for whatever reason, she broke a nail and it cracked her natural nail. She sent me a picture of it bloody and like cracked off. So she injured herself. And if you watch that last video, I used a 3XL tip and only took off about a ½ inch. So she was basically almost wearing a 3XL set of stilettos. So I also think that it's been probably about a year since she's gone that long with nails. So I think, sometimes when that happens, it's just easy. All right, anyway, I blabbed enough through this. We're done, you guys. I'm putting on my cuticle oil. I'm going to show you the final look, which is right here, and a couple little pics of the videos I post when I'm done. Hope you guys like this set. Shout out to you again, Robin. I adore you. And you guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.